There's only one Quran. There are no various versions or whatnot. It's one standard copy of the Quran across the Muslim world. And really, there's not been any variant versions of the Quran. People find so confusing. The topic is that of the various recitations of the Quran, the various different ways of how to recite the Quran. And when we say the various different ways to recite the Quran, we are not talking about different voices or different styles. We're talking about slight differences in pronunciations, slight differences in letters, slight differences in harakat. In other words, if you...
As you just noticed, Yasser al-Qadi, a scholar of Islam, lying and contradicting what he said earlier. As you see, when scholars are with Christians, they will use lies and taqiyya to prove and defend Islam. And as you see, we just spanked and busted this lying, deceiving scholar in Islam. In our last video, you have seen how the Quran of Allah has been tampered with, how it's been corrupted by Muslim hands in the last 1400 years. We destroyed the claim of the Muslims that the Quran is one, that the Quran is not changed, which is of course a big lie. We showed you a couple of examples where the many recitations of the different Quran versions contradict one another. Today we're going to continue this series in part 2. So if you didn't watch part 1, please go watch that video first. Muslims, enjoy this part 2, where we're going to prove for you yet again how the Quran of Allah has been corrupted by Muslim hands. Let us start the teaching. Let's get ready to rumble. Oh, we started already. Oh, okay. Guys, this is example number 1. This is chapter 28, ayah 48. And I'm going to play for you the Hafs version, the Hafs recitation by a Muslim sheikh, and you're going to hear this ayah, and you need to pay attention to this word. Now let me play the Hafs recitation first.
فلما جاءهم الحق من عندنا قالوا لولا أوتي مثل ما أوتي موسى أولم يكفروا بما أوتي موسى من قبل قالوا سحران تظاهرا.
Sihrani. That's the word that we are looking for. This word means 2 works of magic. Sihrani. Now I'm going to play for you the Qalon recitation, the Qalon version of the Quran. Now, again, we need to pay to this word because we're going to prove to you that this word in the Qalon version and the Warsh version do not agree with the Hafs version. The meaning is totally different. Here, this word means 2 works of magic, sihrani, and here this is a different word which means 2 magicians, totally different meaning, as you see. Sahirani, sihrani, sahirani, 2 magicians, 2 works of magic. Now let me play the Qalon version.
فلما جاءهم الحق من عندنا قالوا لولا أوتي مثل ما أوتي موسى أولم يكفروا بما أوتي موسى من قبل قالوا ساحران تظاهرا.
Sahirani. Sihrani, Sahirani. Now let me play the Warsh version for you to show you that also the Warsh version contradicts the Hafs version. This is Warsh.
فلما جاءهم الحق من عندنا قالوا لولا ما أوتي موسى أولم يكفروا بما أوتي موسى من قبل قالوا ساحران تظاهرا.
Sahirani. So again, as you just heard, this one says Sahirani in the both Qalon and Warsh versions, and the Hafs version says Sihrani. Two works of magic, two magicians. So Muslims, why did you say that the Quran is one? Muslims claim that only the dialect differs. No, that's not true. This is false. The meaning is different. This meaning contradicts this meaning in both the same ayah, guys. This is the same ayah. Muslims, stop lying, because we are proving to you today, again for the second time, that the Quran of Allah has been played with. Meanings of the same ayah in different versions contradict one another. Let us go to example number 2 in a different ayah to show you yet again for the second time that the Quran of Allah has been played with and corrupted by Muslim hands. This is Quran chapter 21 ayah 4. We're going to play for you this ayah from the Hafs version, and you need to listen carefully to the first word. This is the Hafs version.
قال ربي يعلم.
قال ربي. Let me play it again. This is very short ayah, so I can play it again. Again, the same Hafs version.
قال ربي يعلم.
قال ربي, my Lord said. قال ربي, my Lord said. Now let me play the Qalon version and see if the Qalon version agrees with the Hafs version. This is Qalon. Did you hear it? Let me play it again. قل ربي. This one said قال ربي. This one says قل ربي. Say my Lord. That was the Qalon version. So here it says say my Lord, but the Hafs version says my Lord said. Totally different meaning. This is not the same ayah clearly, right? If you hear it correctly. So notice the meaning of the verse was changed. Let me play the Warsh version for the same ayah 21, from chapter 21 ayah 4. This is Warsh. Again, قل. Let me play it again. قل ربي. قل ربي. Say my Lord. And what did the Hafs say?
قال ربي.
You hear it? قال and قل. So both the Qalon and the Warsh version do not agree with the Hafs. They actually contradict the Hafs version. This was the second example where we just proved to you that the Quran of Allah has been played and tampered with, and no Quran version agrees with the Hafs in this example. So let me now go to a third example to show you yet again that the Quran of Allah is corrupted. This is chapter 66, ayah 12. Now you have to pay attention to this word during the recitation. Let me play the Hafs version first. This is Hafs recitation.
ومريم ابنة عمران التي أحصنت فرجها فنفخنا فيه من روحنا وصدقت بكلمات ربها
وكتبه. Now let us see if we play the Qalon version from the same ayah, ayah 12 from chapter 66, if it agrees with kutubih. Let's see. This is the Qalon version for the same ayah.
ومريم ابنة عمران التي أحصنت فرجها فنفخنا فيه من روحنا وصدقت بكلمات ربها
وكتابه. The first one in the Hafs version said وكتبه. This one says وكتابه. What's the difference? The first one in the Hafs version is plural, his books. But the second one of the Qalon says وكتابه, his book. وكتبه وكتابه, his book. So this is plural in the Hafs version. In the Qalon version, it's his book. So Allah, Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, which is correct? His books or his book? Muslims, maybe you know the answer. As you see, again, nice corruption. Let me play the Warsh recitation by this Shaykh. This is Warsh.
ومريم ابنة عمران التي أحصنت فرجها فنفخنا فيه من روحنا وصدقت بكلمات ربها
وكتابه. What did the Hafs version said again? I want to know if it says وكتابه or did it say وكتبه. Let me play the Hafs version for the Muslims.
ومريم ابنة عمران التي أحصنت فرجها فنفخنا فيه من روحنا وصدقت بكلمات ربها
وكتبه وكتابه وكتبه. Did you catch it? So both the Qalon and the Warsh versions do not agree with the Hafs version. Again, for the third time, the Quran is corrupted. Is it his books or is it his book? Which one? Is it the plural or the singular? Allahu Alam, Muslims will say. Allah knows best. That's their answer, right? But we know and we prove to you for the third time that the Quran of Allah is corrupted. These two versions do not agree with the most used one, the Hafs version, in the Islamic world. Now let us go to the fourth example to show you that the Quran is corrupted. This is Quran chapter 3, ayah 146. Let me play this recitation of Hafs first. Now pay attention to these two words. This is Hafs recitation.
وكأين من نبي قاتل معه
نبي قاتل. Did you catch it? نبي قاتل. Let me play the Hafs version again, just to make sure.
وكأين من نبي قاتل معه
نبي قاتل. نبي قاتل. Let me play the Qalon version to show you that the Qalon contradicts the Hafs. This is Qalon.
وكأين من نبي قتل معه
نبي إن قتل. نبي قاتل. نبي إن قتل. نبي قاتل. The Qalon says نبي إن قتل. قاتل قتل. Did you catch it? And the meaning is totally different too. You see, both two words do not agree here. And many, the Hafs version says, and many a prophet fought. But the Qalon says, and many a prophet was killed. Fought, and here it says was killed. Let me play the Warsh version to show you that the Warsh version contradicts the Hafs.
وكأين من نبي
قتل معه
نبي إن قتل. What did the Hafs version say? Let me play the Hafs version again, just to make sure.
وكأين من نبي قاتل معه
نبي قاتل. نبي إن قتل. قاتل قتل. Meaning again is different. Here it says, and many a prophet fought, and in both the Qalon and the Warsh versions, it says, and many a prophet was killed. Again, different meaning. Muslims, which one is the correct one? The Hafs or the Qalon and Warsh? Again, we don't know, right, Muslims? We don't know. That's your answer, right? So, guys, thank you for watching, because today again, we have proved that the Quran versions contradict one another. Muslims, wake up, leave this cult, and stop saying that the Quran is one. No, the Quran is not one. Again, in this part 2 of this series, we prove to you that the Quran of Allah has been tampered with, it has been played with and corrupted by the Muslim leaders in the last 1400 years. Thank you for watching. Share this video, download it and share it around. And God bless.